Hey, it's Jody Taylor of snackysays.com. Welcome back to my podcast. Today I am recommending 4 books. I think 4 books, 4 money books that I've enjoyed. I've been thinking about money lately. That's not true. Often. I always think about money. I guess what I really want to say is a few years ago, I did a deep dive into the personal finance world. I was reading all the blogs, listening to all the podcasts. And in some ways, I became disillusioned with it. Just because I find like so much things in life, there's nuance to it, right? There's levels. And so now I feel like, all right, I know the kind of people that I want to listen to and maybe what paths are best for me. By listen to, it's the same as fitness, right? Books are only inspiration. No one can tell you how to invest your money or what budget works best for you, right? So like, just my opinion, and you're not going to get any money advice from me. Whatever you hear on my podcast is always just my opinion, not like, go do this thing. So in my opinion, my experience, I read books for inspiration. I used to, I still do. I just wish somebody would tell me what to do and I could just do it and check it off and, go about my business. But life just doesn't work that way, at least not in my case. So I take a little bit from here, I take a little bit from there, and now I have a money plan that works for me. Same thing with fitness. Now I have a fitness plan that works for me because I use tools for inspiration, books and resources. So let's talk about the 4 books. Cashing Out by Julian and Kiersten Saunders. They actually also have an ebook that I bought years ago, and that ebook was about cooking. I will find the link and put in the show notes. What does cooking have to do with money? Well, if you know how to cook, you can save money. And it's a skill. Who knows? Maybe it can even turn into a hobby or a side hustle or a job. None of that is promised in the ebook. This is just my opinion. It's not like read this ebook and get a side hustle cooking. So Cashing Out for me was just an extremely thought-provoking book. I was fortunate to get to see Julian and Kiersten in person and meet them. They're in the midst, by the time you hear this, I think they'll still have 2 cities to go. They're in the midst of a 6-city book tour. My brother and I went to their DC stop, Washington, DC stop. They are so warm and welcoming, and in moments, really, they just created this sense of community with a group of strangers who came out to meet them because we read their book and we wanted to meet them. Their take is fresh from, so this is someone, I'm talking as someone who's read a bunch of personal finance books and blogs. And, when I was on social media actively, I followed like everybody. I actually might still be following them. I'm still in the slow process of unfollowing people because I'm not on there. So what's the point? So the things I liked about it that stood out to me was their take on corporate culture. They're sharing their stories as Black folks in America dealing with money, personal finances. Julian, the husband, is of Jamaican heritage, and Kiersten is of African American heritage. And so it's interesting to hear that take and perspective in what was for me a new way. I will definitely be going to any event that they put on. I hope that they do like a personal finance conference overnight or for a few days, like a destination thing. I'll be there. Check out their book. I will put the link in the show notes. Next, My Money, My Way. Surprise, got this book in the mail. My sister sent it to me. I keep tapping it. If you hear that in the background, it's right here. Kiersten and Julian's book I listened to. I have the audio book. This book, My Money, My Way by Kumiko Love, you might know her as the Budget Mom. It is, I think, if you're looking for some practical, I don't want to say practical guidance, then consider this book. It's called My Money, My Way, Taking Back Control of Your Financial Life. I am currently reading it. I'm not reading it in order. I'm bouncing around to the parts I want to read. My sister said it didn't have to be read in order, so I ran with that, and I just started on the sections that I wanted to read. But I think if you're looking for a plan, she has resources on her website where you can, some of them are free, some of them are paid, with budget trackers, debt trackers, saving, spending. She has a ton of information. Same with Julian and Kiersten. They're also on YouTube. They also have a website and blog and different resources. The websites and the offers are totally different in terms of what they have available for resources. So just check them out separately. I'm not trying to lump them together. The next book is The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins. I read this book about 4 years ago, and I'd gone through so many of his blog posts. So I was really excited when he came out with his book. If you want to know more about investing and you want a very approachable book, this is the book for you. Plain language. He breaks it down. Spoiler alert, he's talking, I think he does an overview in the beginning, but his focus is on index funds. And you will actually, if you decide to read all three books, you will actually hear index funds come up in all three books. Now, again, I'm skipping around in Kumiko's book, but she does have a section on investing. And in my social media heyday, I was following her and keeping up with her. And I know she's spoken about it before. Let me flip through. Maybe I'll check her index while you wait. Is that necessary? No, I'm not going to do that, but I'm pretty sure she talks about index funds in here because I've heard her talk about it on social media. Okay, the last thing I have for you is a resource, pennies2wealth.com. I have been using her budget spreadsheet. It's like $10, I think. It's worth every penny. There's a Google Sheets version. That's the version I'm using. And there's an Excel version. So pick whichever one you're more comfortable with. I really like it because she has a tab for money goals. She has very important, and Kumiko talks about this in her book too, but she doesn't just give you a spreadsheet where you budget monthly, which a lot of us do. I know I used to do it. Actually, that worked out for me because I got paid monthly. But if you get paid weekly, or let's say you have a job where you're getting tips every day and it's not necessarily steady. If you get paid bi-weekly, basically by Paycheck, this is a great spreadsheet. So you can, for example, let's say you have 4 bills, and one is due on the 2nd, one is due on the 15th, the other is the 22nd, the last one is the 9th, random dates, right? You can literally go in and put your income and the bills for each paycheck, your savings goal for each paycheck, if you have any debt payments for each paycheck. So I'll put that link. I think those are all the resources. So number 1, Cashing Out by Julian and Kiersten Saunders. Number 2, My Money, My Way by Kumiko Love. Number 3, The Simple Path to Wellness by J.L. Collins. And then I had a resource for you, the Paycheck Budget Spreadsheet by Pennies to Wealth, and I'll put that link. One more book. I knew I was forgetting something. Money Diaries. Did you ever read that that blog post? It was like a series. Actually, it still is a series. Refinery 29. A few years ago, I was really into Money Diaries because I used to love this show called What You Get for the Money. I think it was on HGTV. So they would pick a number, let's say $300,000, and they would go to a town in Minnesota. For example, a town in Minnesota, a town in Colorado, and let's say a town in North Carolina, making it up. And so in each town, they would say, okay, for $300,000, this is a house you could get or an apartment you can get. I just love the comparison, like, a peek into how other folks live and what they get for the money. And so with Money Diaries, you can see like, oh, well, someone who lives in this city and makes this much, this is what they do with their money. It's a fun look. And more than that, it's an educational look and a peek into, you name it. Like you could learn about a new to you career. You could get a sense of like, oh, well, I'm interested in this industry. I didn't know it paid that much or paid that little. Or, well, oh, that's an interesting way to budget. Oh, this person has a roommate. This person has a significant other. It's just really interesting and informative. So the book came out a few years ago. I got it as soon as it came out. I'll put the link for the book. Again, they're still running this series, so you can go to the website. As I recall, the book I feel like it had some stories that I had already seen on the website, but I didn't mind at all. And I had the ebook version. And I bet it's, because it came out a few years ago, I bet it doesn't cost as much. And of course, you can get all of these books at your local library. I did list 5 books, so maybe you want to borrow some. I happen to own all of them. But, I happen to own all of them. But I'm trying to think of a money book that I borrowed from the library. No, I usually don't. I can't think of any. If I'm interested in a money book, I generally buy it. But that's because I'm doing air quotes, know the person or know of the person. Like I've been following them. I'm really interested and I'll buy it. If I think of another book that I borrowed from the library, and if I did, nope, I didn't. Okay, let's wrap it up here. If there are any money books, personal finance books that you love, please share them with me. I'm always looking to learn something new. And again, if I didn't say this earlier, be inspired. So I am not going to follow exactly things from each of these books or adapt everything from each book. But in each case, I've been like, you know what? Kumiko said something interesting. Julian said something in the book that I asked him about on the book tour, and in person, like it really, really hit home. Again, it made me think, oh, okay, I want to apply this to my life, to my money plans. I'm going to adjust my goals. I'm going to invest in this thing because, he said these 10 things in his book, but I think 2 work for me. So I hope you get that type of inspiration from some of these books. Or maybe you'll go to the website and be like, nah, I don't agree with this, but I agree with that. And, you'll get some other resource. All right, I think that's about it. Thank you for listening. I hope you are having a prosperous year and your money is right. Whether or not your money is right, I still say check out these books. You'll learn something. I hope you'll learn something new or consider a different way to think about money in your relationship to it. Big money wishes. All right, take care. This is Jody Taylor of snackysays.com. Thank you.